All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the onocoffee channel. And today we are celebrating 500 episodes of the Coffee Q&A. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. If you're just joining us for the very first time, we've been doing 500 episodes of almost daily or somewhat daily or not even very close to daily live streams talking about coffee. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments here or down below if you're watching later. And let's get into it. How y'all doing? How you doing? Can you believe it? Mom, good morning to you. 500 episodes. I was thinking about this just last week. I was like, 500, that's a lot. But, it's a lot, right? It's a lot for any kind of episodes. But, when you do it nearly daily, it doesn't take that long. I mean, 500 episodes is really, if we were to do a live stream every day of the year, we could easily do that in a year and a half, right? So it's not that difficult. But it's a lot. So, and if we imagine that 500 episodes of me babbling on incessantly for at least, let's say on the average, 35 minutes. 35 minutes times 500. Because I don't share the stage with anyone because I'm a ham. No, that's not true. 35 minutes times 500. That's 17,500 minutes of just incessant babble. Minimum, I would say minimum, right? Some of them are like 20 minutes long, but let's say divide that by 60. That's 291 hours, 292 hours. Divide that by 24. That's 12 days of nonstop talking. That's just okay, that's crazy. Kent, how are you? And thank you very much. Andrew's with us. I raised my espresso cup. Thank you. We look forward to the next 500. Coffee Comes with us. Good morning. And Power Plant, good morning to you as well. Hope everyone's doing well today. So I thought today we would, drink some coffee and talk a little, just have a little retrospective on the 500 episodes. And since I've been putting it off for a while, I just kind of forgot about it. This is how weird, this is how strange my world is that, most people are like, oh, Gesha. And then I get Gesha. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's a Gesha somewhere here. I don't know where it is. This was gifted to me by the guys at Belle Coffee Roasters in Dublin, Ireland. And, which means I got it when I was in Dublin the last time, which was quite a while ago. And this particular coffee is from a producer by the name of Daniel Correa. And Daniel is a producer down in Colombia. Actually, he produces coffee. I found out that he produces a place called Quindio. Now, Quindio is a growing region of Colombia. So there's Quindio and Armenia. And you normally, when you fly down to there, you'll fly from, let's say, Bogota. And so Bogota is in the mountains, right? And Armenia, Quindio is down in the valley from Bogota. Bogota's super high, right? You go to Bogota, it's always cold. Quindio can be beautifully warm, even though it's mountainous, right? We're talking nearly 2,000 meters. So I think Bogota is I don't think it's quite as high as Denver or Mexico City, but it's pretty high. Because the interesting thing about Colombia is that you go to, I spent a lot of time in Bogota, right? And you go to Bogota, and the women, of course, Colombian women, very attractive. But they're all wearing, jeans and jackets. They're all dressed up because, it's chilly. And then you go to, and so you're like, okay, so they look, there's the stereotypical Colombian look, right? You're like, let's say the Shakira look, right? You're like, oh my goodness, or the ones you see, but then you go to Bogota, and they're kind of more like Sofia Vergara, right? Meaning that they're all dressed up, and they got jeans on, and they got jackets, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you go down to places that are warmer, like Quindio or Armenia, or even to Tolima, especially Tolima, or even, and I hear this is true of Manizales, as well as what are the other towns? I can't remember the other name of the town at the moment, but they're closer to the coast, closer to Venezuela. And there you get the more what you see in the news, oh, there. Now we're seeing the different modes of dress because it's not as cold. But anyway, this place Quindio, and evidently this farm is called Finca La Mina. And Finca La Mina is located in an area of Colombia that I'm actually quite familiar with, in a town called Buenavista. And Buenavista is this town that is in Quindio. So like I said, you fly from Bogota to Armenia. The airport's at Armenia, and then you drive to the next departamento. They call it, there they have states, what we would call states or provinces in other countries are called departamentos in Colombia and other Latin American countries. More or less very similar in concept, right? But more province rather than autonomous states like we have in the United States, right? But anyway, so you fly to Armenia, you drive over to Quindio, which is they're just like this, right? And you go up to this town called Buenavista, and this little town, it's on this little tiny mountain area. Well, the actual town is kind of at the top of this smaller, like, mountain. It's not I guess it's part of a mountain. It's a beautiful little town. Church, of course, the center, and just really a lovely town. And then I know this place because the farm that I work with a lot more, or that I work with, is a place called, it's always the name. These moments when I'm trying to remember the names of places is always a difficult thing. Just a moment.
Okay, I'm loading up.
Okay, sorry about that. Had to have some answer some questions for a doctor. I've got an appointment with my infectious disease doctor tomorrow after that whole thing we had back in July, and there's a CT scan that needs to be done today, so I'm just having some things checked out. Anyway, like I was saying, well, let's see what you're seeing. More importantly, Coffee Cove says, "Congrats, thank you very much." Keone's with us. Hello to you. How is your wife doing? Hope she's doing well. Paraplan says, have you seen said sentimental value affect Jones Verdi? Oh, I watched it last night. Was really blown away by the film. Oh, not yet, but it's on my list. It's a stunning film about trauma and its effect on small family when not addressed. And the Norwegian language is really beautiful. We're very interested. Why don't you check that out? It's gotten a lot of praise, says Ken, so I'll watch it soon. Produced by a company here in Bergen. Oh, nice. All right, so we got this. So like I said, we've got this coffee from Quindio, and like I said, I'm familiar with the farm. Juan Pablo Villota is my friend, and now Cafe San Alberto. There we go, Cafe San Alberto, which is right above Buenavista. So like if you stand there at the cupping lab, and you look out down across from the mountain, right, down the slope, you can see here the town of Buenavista. Like this farm is taller and higher than Buenavista. So if Buenavista has a beautiful view, then Cafe San Alberto has an even more beautiful view. And and that's not even at the top of the mountain. So like the cupping lab is at this level, Buenavista is down here, and then the top of the farm is still farther back. And actually, if you ever get out to Buenavista, if you drive up the road from Buenavista to Cafe San Alberto, they actually have a cafe on the farm in the middle of a Castillo field, which is really quite a beautiful, beautiful view. I'll have to show you a picture of it to show you that. But Power plant says the lead actor René Rainsve was stunning in the world person in the world, and was also studying some. Oh, good morning to you, Kent. So we've got this guy, Daniel Correa. This is his coffee, his Gesha. Let's have a look and see what it's all about. So I thought we have this since we came up to 500. I thought we would do this for the 500 because geishas are special coffees, right? Everyone loves geisha. Well, not everyone loves geisha. I have a friend of mine who's not really into it. Like he's like geisha. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I don't like geisha. I was like, why is that? He's like, if I want a coffee that tastes like, if I want something that tastes like tea, I'm going to drink tea. And I was like, okay, fair enough. There's actually a really beautiful aroma that just kind of escaped as I was cutting open the bag. Oh, there's a very fruity element to it. But it is a honey processed. So they're supposed to be like, it says here, or if it's a history that you can see it's kind of got this funky cinnamon honey process. So maybe they put cinnamon with it. Maybe that's what gives it. It's a little bit of a spiciness on the nose. It says here cinnamon, mango, and white tea for their notes. And 1,700 meters. And they say it's for filter. As you can see, he was roasted February 15th, 2023. So it's been just, and unlike my other practice of freezing everything, this has just been sitting around. So let's put our coffee in here. Now, to my naked eye, actually, I don't know what variety. Maybe it's just, this is Gesha. So Gesha, you can see it's fairly large beans comparatively to a lot of other coffees. So that's kind of nice. And as you can see here, fairly lightly roasted. This is a very cinnamony colored roast. I'm not sure if you see that as much as I do coming across the screen. Power plant says the cinnamon process was the early processing about 5 or 6 years ago. I'm not familiar with cinnamon processing. I've not had coffee cinnamon processed. Do you know what the difference is with cinnamon processing? All right, so let's make some coffee because it's time to make coffee. We're going to make our typical recipe. Now they do say it's for filter. So for filter, we're going to use, since it is a special occasion, we're going to use the fanciness, right? Which is always, and we mean the fancy, we mean the ODZ in the Benjerong style of brewer, which really has to be my favorite brewer. Thank you, Tony, for sending this here. And for also sending this beautiful Monet resin encapsulated flower dripper holder. Like that is just gorgeous. It's still today gorgeous, gorgeous and stunning. Whoops, I shouldn't turn it upside down. And also terrifying to use because if you drop it, then it's very, very sad. Very, very sad. Very sad. Okay, so we're gonna put that aside. We're gonna use our Cafec. What do they use? The Cafec. What do they call these again? The Cafec paper filters. But there's that particular, the bag. I can see the bag sitting on the counter, and it's just crinkled enough so that I can't see the Abaca. I think it's Abaca filter. I can't see the word. So, all right, let us get our. Power plant says the most beautiful lamppost shade that makes coffee. Oh, Abaca, yes, thank you. Okay, so here we go. We've got our fellow. We're going to go by weight. 24 grams as always. Really, if I wanted to be frugal with such an expensive coffee, 24.5, I think that's good enough. I wouldn't. The nice thing about this is that I could put just 10 grams and then allow the brew assist to do its thing and show me the way, right? So we got 24.5 grams of coffee in here, and now we're going to get our grinder. Our fellow Gen 2. This is not the new one. I still haven't used the new one. We're going to use this one. We're going to see how long it will take for it to like make more issues. If it'll make more issues. Hopefully it won't. And we've got it right here in the center setting. I think that's where we liked it last time. I think it worked well. I don't remember. All right, let's give it a try. Sounds a little bit rough, doesn't it? I mean, you can hear like some kind of like, I don't know. All right, here we go. Luckily, we didn't see it seize this time. There is a nice aroma coming from this. And here's the thing, like, it's been nearly 3 years since this coffee was roasted. Now, I would not presume to think that this coffee today in December 2025, after being roasted in February 2023 and sitting in a sealed bag the entire time, never to be broken, I would not presume to think that this coffee would perform in the same manner that it did nearly 3 years ago. But it has really beautiful aromas today, and I wonder, this is what I wonder like about, and I do these kind of things somewhat intention, like I'll just like have whatever use coffee whatever I want, get to it, because I want to see how well does coffee hold up, and I think coffee overall holds up fairly well. Like it's not going to be, of course, as good as it was. But who knows? Okay, let's see here. Okay, get this. Let me make sure I turn the heat back on. Okay, let's put the filter in. Fold the filter over. Pipeline says cafe filters are all 495 Japanese yen here. I was stunned to see the markup in America. How much are they in America? I haven't bought it. I don't remember how I got this. I think Keone included this with the stuff that he sent me, I think. Or maybe I did buy it. I don't remember. But yeah, everything tends to be quite much more expensive here compared to what the price is in. Like when I buy stuff in Tokyo, it's like, oh. Of course, you don't have to. It's always like, oh, it's much more cheaper there. Yeah, but you got to fly there, right? Yeah. How much does it cost you to fly there and stay at a hotel and eat your meals? Even if you were to go for, let's say you were to fly there, right? You fly there, right? Let's say I decide I need to go buy coffee here. So I'm going to go to Tokyo Hands and I'm going to go to Union Coffee in Tokyo, right? I could fly to Japan tomorrow. Let's say I decide I'm going to go tomorrow. And let's say forget all this whole, like, if you buy a ticket in 24 hours, it's going to cost you more. But it's you buy a ticket. You buy a ticket, you fly to Tokyo. That's going to cost you like maybe $1,000. You're going to stay a night. You're going to arrive tomorrow. Well, let's say you arrive there like 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Take the train to the city, and then you get to your hotel right around 6 o'clock or so, maybe. So you got to stay one night. So there's your first night, $100. I usually get a hotel for $100 or less in central Tokyo. $100. Go out to eat. Let's say you spend another, I don't know. Let's say you eat at konbinis. You eat at the konbini, and you eat as cheap as possible. So you buy like a fruit sando and maybe a Diet Coke, and then you hide out in your hotel room all night long. And then you have hotel. Do you have a hotel? Let's say you presume you get a place that has free breakfast, right? You get a hotel breakfast. So there it is, 100. Let's say you spent $100 that first night. Then you go shopping that day, and then, but you need to go to those places, so you got to spend the whole day there, and then one more night. So 2 nights, $200. So let's say another $50 for food. So now you have $250, and then you fly home the next day, but you don't fly home the next day until 5 o'clock, right? So it's going to be all day long. So let's say you spend another $30 on food. So now $300 $280, let's say $300. And then you fly home and you come back the next day. So now you've spent $1,300 plus whatever you bought. I mean, it is an epic trip. Like, I would do it. I would do it. But. Power Plant asked Coffee Club, did you get any new grinders? And Cafe has several new styles of filters that I do not see Western people using. What's the difference with them? Peter is with us. What's going on, Peter? I used Rikuto Kanata pour over method this week. Oh, I'm not even familiar with that. I'll have to look that up. He blew with cold water and let it immerse before filtering the regular way. Oh, interesting. I may lose you at a Kerry says, I may lose you. I'm at a resort on the River Kwai in Kanchanaburi. Wi-Fi isn't that good. Visited the bridge. A temple bakes with carved wood. Oh, nice. Enjoy. Power Plant says, recently I've been looking to a better reusable filter, but it's difficult. I don't like the nail filters. I use the cheesecloth, but it doesn't last. Now using a tofu bag. Is the tofu bag from Cafe? Is that right? I mean, we used that. I don't know if I used it on this live stream or maybe one of the ones that when I was in Houston. But I remember I have somewhere. I don't know where it went, but I have somewhere one of the linen filters from. What's the name of that company? The one whose stuff I like. Someday I'll remember these things. Anyway, and where is that kettle? The kettle is gone. Huh. Strange things are afoot here at the onocoffee studios. A tofu bag is used to strain fresh tofu. Oh, gotcha. That was a nail. No, the one from that's definitely not a nail because I have nails, and nails are very different types of cloths. But so let's brew this coffee. Time to brew. Let's brew away. Let's go with our old classic Bodo kettle from Correa. We've got boiling water here. Oh, and of course, I totally did not do this correctly. Right, like here we are. I should have teared out the scale, which I tend to forget to do. Tear. Now we add the coffee. Now we shake. Okay, good. 24.5. So see again, we have theoretically full zero retention in the grinder, 355. Okay, now press this button. Okay, here we go, down to brew. So Peter, what did you think about this Rikuto Kanata style of brewing? I've done that in the past, like with my Clever, because I actually use a water tower for my brewing in the kitchen. Like I've got this like water tower that has like hot water, instant hot water, and cold water. And there have been a couple times when I started, like I've taken the Clever to it, put it under the cold, just not even thinking about it, put it in the cold water spot, hitting it, and then crap, and then like there's a couple more, there's like a few ounces of cold water, and then I'll just add the hot water because I don't care. I'm like, not the same as pouring cold water through first and then to hydrate it, but I'm just wondering. So I wonder what did you think? Was there a marked improvement in that? So, of course, as you see here, we're using this coffee that's nearly 3 years old. There's no blooming that we're used to, right? Like with fresh coffee, there's a lot of bloom. This one, there's no bloom because all the CO2 has been long gone. Although, thinking about it now, I don't know if we're worried about CO2 production, occluding the flavors of coffee, perhaps by waiting an extra long period of time for the CO2 to have completely dissipated, perhaps this is the more honest flavor of the coffee. 209, 250. Oh, we're going pretty well as far as pace and tempo goes. Relatively flat on our coffee bed, which I kind of like. So we're 316, so we are going pretty fast. So perhaps we could retard the grind a little bit next time, maybe go a little bit finer. Or not. It's almost 352, 312. Okay, there we go. Good, good, good. All right. So 3:30. So that's a pretty good time. I think that's fairly good for time. Just get rid of that. Now this, I will not be so cavalier because I don't want to damage it. All right, here is our coffee brew, our elixir. Look at that. Looks nice. And let's get our mug here, our glass. Let's see. Yeah, there definitely is some kind of cinnamony, kind of like spiciness to it on the nose. So it's got that kind of very light body, hint of floral kind of character, or just black tea kind of character to it, like a very thin character, like a lot of geishas have. But definitely with a domination of cinnamon. I'm going to have to look more into this and see if is it a cinnamon. Do they include cinnamon in the processing of the coffee? Oh, and maybe I can look up here on the computer. Let me see here. I probably should get a new laptop because this laptop I bought new in 2013. So it's a 12-year-old laptop. I want to be 13 years old. And, while I've always liked this one, it is starting to get a little bit long in the tooth. Oh, yeah. Okay. So according to Google AI, cinnamon honey process. Here, let me pull this up here. Let's see what they say. Cinnamon honey process refers to two things: especially coffee bean preparation, cinnamon sticks infused fermentation, creating naturally spiced flavors in the green bean, like in Costa Rica, and popular drinks where blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there is evidently unique processing method where coffee beans, after pulping, are fermented with actual cinnamon sticks. Yeah, okay, there we go. There it is. So it is, or I presume that it is. So in the world of competition coffee, this is where people get riled up. because there's a whole set of people in the competition world that are like, this kind of thing is an adulteration of the coffee, and it should be banned for use in competitions. Um, the best of Panama, or the Gesha competition in Panama, recently disqualified some entries because of processing that was done with some kind of additive, and this would be considered an additive in the world of coffee production. I don't know how this was necessarily when it was brand new. I don't think I like it. Like it's an unnatural flavor to the coffee. Like it's a strange flavor to the coffee. Now, that being said, as a candy lover, I'm not a cinnamon candy fan. Like Red Hots and all those kind of things, they're not my jam, right? I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. So that could be part of the part of the influence on what I'm saying now. So now, do I think that something like this should be banned? No. I think that this kind of thing needs to be encouraged and fostered, because that we cannot find innovation and progress without experimentation, without trying things outside the box. It's just, I'm not going to be one of those people. I don't want to be one of those people like when I got into the business that were like, all natural coffee is defective. It's, oh God, one of those people. So my initial reaction to this coffee is it's weird. It's strange. It's very different. I'm not a fan. But it's not bad. Like, it's not terrible. Like, I mean, it's a nicely done coffee. Clean, but very light bodied, right? Like if you drink a lot of geishas, it's already light. It's a relatively light bodied coffee, light flavored coffee, just lighter in general than typical Arabicas. Weird though, weird. This cinnamon thing is weird. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what we got going on. I know I'm a little bit behind. Coffee Cove says, PowerPoint's asking, do I read Standard? I have not read Standard. And Peter says, Tetsu did something similar, but used cold water at the final pour. Cold water as in room temperature. Okay. Gotcha. But did you like it? Are you going to do more of it? Coffee Cove says, yes, the P80 arrived 2 days ago, and so far so good, and really like the cup so far. Brewed to Ethiopians, one wash and the other natural. The grinds were more flaky. Oh, okay. Nice. And Palman says, the fit and finish on the option O is outstanding? Question. And Coffee Cove says, I have not seasoned the birds and may not on these, as I am happy with the results so far. I presume that then, any kind of use is just gonna eventually wear them down. And my meticulous is supposed to arrive. Ooh, let us know how that. I'm curious to know about that one. PowerPlan says South America usually grows and utilizes acacia, not Ceylon. Ceylon is quite different to acacia. Agree on experimentation, says Andrew. Think of spirits aged in different types of wood casks. Yeah, I like even that. I'm a little bit like, I'm not down with. Like I was looking for a whiskey not too long ago. I think one of the Japanese was. I think I was looking for the one with the H. I used to buy it for like $35 a bottle or $30 a bottle, and you can't now you can't touch it for like 130. And it was a 12 or 13 year. What is the name of that? Do I have an empty bottle somewhere here? Anyway, it is really, really popular now. And I was like, well, Then I found a bottle, and my friend had one, and it was like port wine barrel aged. And I was like, what? Port wine barrel aged? It's not bad. I was like, that's not the flavor that I wanted. I want the plain flavor. Give me the plain packaging, man. Propline says, it is good for the producers to make more money for the efforts. And Power Coffee Co says, I will, but waiting on since they started on Kickstarter. I know it's been a long time. I'm glad to see that they're finally able to ship and get the product out there. Hibiki, thank you. Thank you very much. The Hibiki. I really like the original Hibiki. I don't know how it is today because, you know, it's just so expensive to buy. I bought, last time I was out looking in Tokyo, I found another brand. I haven't really tried. I'm not a week. I don't drink much at all. So I was just, you know, I think I got this at, there's a liquor store in Ginza that I stopped by, kind of on the other side of the main drag than where I normally stay. So I'll just walk over there and, you know, see what they got that's cheap. And so this was like maybe like $20 or something like that. This is called the Fuji Gotemba Distillery, Riken. I've had a little bit of it. I don't remember what it's like. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know. Will this be the new Hibiki? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm taking this drugs right now that I should not be drinking much. So I'm like, oh, I've been holding back. Actually, which doesn't really bother me because I don't really drink a lot. But the other day I was thinking about drinking. I was like, oh, I really shouldn't. I was like, oh, now I'm being held back. I don't like that. All right, let's. I even brought a little bit of a muffin for our 500. A little bit of muffin here. And I just found this book of matches. This is a book of matches from a place called La Cés à Paris. And this is a little restaurant that is in Presidente Mazarik in Mexico City. Can you see that? This camera doesn't focus very well. Papan says, Nikita's very good, but my favorite doesn't really get exported at all. Oh, which one is your favorite? Oh, this is not matches. Those are mints. Okay, forget that. That's no good. We need matches, baby. Matches. Here we go. Oh, here they're matches. Los Seis matches. Is this matches or is this? Okay, no, it's not mints. Okay, good. Light a little candle. I don't know why we light a candle. I don't know. It just would be kind of fun. All right, time for a little photo op while I have a moment. Okay, good. All right, now we've got the candle. Happy 500, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. I always appreciate your support and your joining me here on all of this. Oh, and by the way, so Naomi last week was asking about, oh, you know, what about like a discount on shipping? And okay, so I finally set up, if you go to our website, and if you actually look down in the description below, you'll see in parentheses a little word, Coffee QA. When you go to the website, sprocoffee.com, and you go to checkout, there's going to be a little code there, a little code section, right? A little code window. Put Coffee QA in there, and it's a $40. Like that's why I asked the other day. I was like, "Well, what's the cutoff for a lot of people? $60. $60. Like, we're going to beat that." But just for you guys, Coffee QA. Put that in when you put your discount code in on checkout, and anything over $40 is free shipping. And I think I have it set up for free shipping anywhere on the planet. All right, so here's everything. Nice. I'm not sure exactly what kind of muffin this is. This has actually been in the freezer for quite a long time. Everything today is old. Old episodes, old. Thank you, Coffee Cove. We're doing coffee toast. All right, let's do a coffee toast as well. Coffee toast to you as well. Cheers. All right, let's see what kind of muffin this really is, because I am curious. Oh, it is blueberry good. I don't think it's not one that I made, but it's somebody made. You can tell by the crumb it doesn't have the lusciousness that the ones that I make. This definitely looks more commercial in style, right? Anyway, but we're not worried about that. It's blueberry. That's all that matters. Mm. All right, all right. Good, 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 good. Oh, okay. The lightness of the coffee and the cinnamoniness goes together surprisingly well. Wow. All right. Awesome. Actually, that's really good. Well, now, a bit of a retrospective, just to kind of, since it's 500 episodes, and we're going to look back and see while we drink coffee about some of the episodes we've done here. As I'm kind of curious. I'm a little bit nostalgic myself. Oh, this is hammers. One of the guys I know is talking about hammers. Trusty Cook. Evidently, these are great hammers. They're on sale through the end of the year. In case you're looking for ball peen hammers and things like that. Okay, let's go here. So here's where we all started. Let me make this bigger. And let's go. Can we make that big size-wise? Oh, yeah, good. Okay, so now here we go. You can see this first one here is says Roman Craft and Temperance BA Revenge. This is a thumbnail from a live stream I do on Thursday nights and called the Coffee and Cigars live stream. This is so whenever I talk about a live stream Thursday night, that's actually the one that used to be hosted on this channel. And as you can see, monetization here is turned off because YouTube does not like coffee cigar related content. Not too long after this date, this is March 31st, 2022. I start up a different channel where all of those are being done now. It's called the Ono Live channel. So there's now over 250 episodes of that. And that's a weekly episode. But back in July, so that was in March 31st, 2022. And the coffee Q&A didn't officially begin until July 13th, 2022. So months later, I was sitting around thinking, I would like to start doing maybe a live stream about coffee. Now, it doesn't start the way that we do it today. It was one of these things, so like the 13th, the 18th. So right here, there's almost a week separation, just a few days separation, then 10-day separation. So I was trying to think about like what could we talk about on these live streams, and in some ways, doing the live stream was about an easier way of making content, right? Because otherwise, if I made these as edited videos, it would take a lot longer to produce and release. So if I was doing it as a live stream, then it would be a little bit easier to get the information out there. To start out doing things like, these espresso-related topics. And then we started here, like the morning coffee on August 13th, coffee Q. That's what started. I think that's where we started calling it the coffee Q&A. Oh no, I guess we started calling it coffee Q&A from the very beginning. And just trying to figure out what to do. Like a lot of this is about, when you're starting out doing YouTube, you're trying to figure out what is it you want to do, how to do it. So here you can see here, what was it, 17th. So as you can see here, it's like July 21st at first, August 2nd, August 5th, 8th, 13th, 15th, 17th, 2 on the 17th. I think I might think that I'm Hoon or something. I'm doing multiple streams a day. 23rd, 27th. So not quite regularly, but getting more and more regular. Like so here, 2nd, 3rd, 10th of September. And then a week goes by, another week goes by, another week goes by. And then this time I'm in Saudi Arabia here. That was kind of fun. We're walking around the Saudi Arabia trade show. And then, so that's October 8th. And almost a month goes by before we get to the next one, where I'm actually in Hawaii. This is from Honolulu, or maybe Kona. Andrew said, should I cringe to think how old the Alsace mints? Oh yeah, the Alsace mints are probably 10 years old. Oh no, they're older than 10 years because I haven't been to Alsace since 2000, maybe 2010, 2011. Powerplant says, did you see the post I made on the community page? I have not seen that yet. Let us go have a look. So when I log into YouTube, this is what you're going to see what I see. So 2,725 subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Community post. How do I see that again? I am liking this thing here. Naomi says, I'm sad I missed this episode. Hey, Naomi. Now I feel compelled by a nice chocolate disc. It is worth it. Oh, viewer posts. Here we go. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Coffee Cup says it was one of two. The Zerno Z2 is now scheduled for the end of January now. Okay, gotcha. Kate wants to know, what is your primary motivation for doing these daily coffee Q&As? You know, that's a good question. What is my primary motivation? You know, so when you start doing live streams, like my channel, as you see, 2,750 subscribers, is not by any means a big channel as far as on YouTube at all. Not just coffee YouTubers, but YouTubers in general, right? Now, of course, if I was to have all 2,750 subscribers come to my house, it would be pandemonium. So I do realize that. But when you compare it to people like Hoon or to James, this channel is very minuscule. And when you start out, like, for example, let's see here. When you start out, I guess these are not good examples, but let's say you start out here. Let's look at these. I'm looking at the view. Oh, oops, wrong one. I'm looking here at the view count. 70. Oh, that's not right. 121, 74, 112, 68, 126, 46, 82, 237, 45, 70. Here, this one, 2,000. Okay, that's not bad. 73, 105, 90, 83. Now, in the world of YouTube video making, these are very, very small numbers. Like if I was to go to some of my friends who are YouTubers, I mean, if we were to compare my view counts to their view counts, you're like, oh, minuscule, right? And that's something, if you start out doing YouTube, you kind of have to, I think you have to be aware of. Is that, like I tell people that ask me now about, should I do a YouTube channel? I say, yes, always. And should I do live stream? I said, I think so. But I say, if you're going to do live streams, you have to be ready to live stream and with no one watching. Like no one is going to watch your video. Like I told this one girl I know, this friend of mine, when she wanted to start a couple of years ago, like, just understand that when you start, you can do whatever you want. And that's the beauty of it. You can do whatever you want because nobody's going to see it. No one's going to see you. No one's going to be watching. No one's going to know. The hard part about that is that, you know, like now it's nice because, at least for me, it's nice because, you know, I get to chat with all of you. Now there's an interaction that didn't exist in these early videos, right? It's just me babbling on nonstop, incessantly, because there's no one to, like, you know, and there are moments when it does become difficult to continue. Like the harder ones tend to be like, let's say like the Thursday night stream that I do with the cigars sometimes. And I don't necessarily prepare material for that. It's just kind of like extemporaneous kind of like discussion. But on the days or the time periods where the chat discussion slows, sometimes I'm like, how do we stretch that? Like, how do I cover this area? Because maybe I've run out of something to say. Like, I can't think of a topic. So, but the motivation for this is, my thought is really that I would like to share knowledge about coffee with people to help them understand coffee better. Now that seems like that's a very canned response. That's a very like typical response. But for me, it's not about like what I see a lot of in the professional ranks over the years is, you know, there's a lot of what's the best way to term it? There's a lot of condescension, right? A lot of people would chip on their shoulders about making coffee, and I've always been like, well, you know, we make coffee. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult, right? It's not that difficult to make nice quality coffee. Like I was just posting this on a forum yesterday or last night. Because somebody was on the AeroPress forum. Somebody was asking about, should I get into? Can I make espresso? Can I make AeroPress style coffee in an espresso machine? And I was like, well, you know, you might, but you know, it sounds like you're going to go a very difficult route and a very expensive route to get results that you probably won't like. Because if your intention is to make espresso style, AeroPress style coffee from an espresso machine, I mean, the design of the AeroPress was reversed. It was supposed to make espresso style coffee from a non-espresso machine. That's what Alan originally intended the AeroPress to be, and that's what they marketed it for. But I think that, you know, for me, it's always about like, how do we break it down? And I don't know if this comes through a lot, but hopefully it does. But my thought is always that I would like to break coffee down into a way that's not necessarily all about highfalutin ideas, right? So for me, the basic thing is that if you buy nice quality coffee, you have solved the majority of your battle, right? Which is why, you know, when we talk a lot about equipment, I don't necessarily know a lot about the gear that's out there because I'm not really paying that close attention to it. Because to me, it's not about the gear. Like the gear helps. Don't get me wrong. Like when people ask me, like, "Oh, what kind of espresso machine should I get?" Like for my cafe, for me, it's La Marzocco. Like I'm dyed in the wool, die-hard La Marzocco guy. Like that's what I use. That's what I've always used. And you know, the only one that I would probably migrate to would be Case Van der Westen. But you know, so if you buy it, and so I don't necessarily need to tinker with a lot of stuff. Like I just know that you buy nice quality gear, you're going to get good results. If you buy, and that's why you start with nice coffee, you're going to get good results. And for most people make it home, I don't think they necessarily need to get too technically involved with it. Now you certainly can, and if that's the enjoyment you find in it, that's perfectly a wonderful way to go. But that's why I don't really delve too heavily into the technical side of things or like equipment stuff. Like I don't like to talk too much about equipment because, you know, I'm not that interested in the equipment. I'm more interested in the end result. You know what I'm saying? Did I think that makes sense? I hope that makes sense. So that's really what I'm interested in doing for the live stream is to just discuss coffee in a general manner and hopefully make it seem accessible to people that are joining us so that it's not all like high-tech stuff. You know, it's not, you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Like actually, I got this. Actually, I just found this the other day. Let me go back and I'll show it to you. I was going to save this for a second episode, but since we're talking about it, I think it might be kind of apropos. But I found in this box of stuff that I just kind of happened to find a whole bunch of like my old tools, or just at least one of the old tools, I think. And I was like, "What is in this box?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this." I don't even know why this is still here, but so this is the box, right? And it's an auto parts box that's obviously my brother's. And somehow this was in there. And inside this box is one of the African, like, I don't even remember. Of course, I realized I bought this during my trip to Uganda, probably, or maybe Ethiopia. I don't know. But it's here. I'll put that there for now. And I got so many things I don't even know. But what I found in here was Oh yeah, there's a mask. Oh, look at that. Wow. Oh, that's epic. I like cultural artifacts. Like I used to when I was younger, and I thought it was much more of an auteur. I was collecting ethnographic type of work. Somewhere here, where did it go? Oh, there it is. I'm not going to pull it up, but behind some of these bottles is like a quiver of arrows that I got from a museum collection that was from Ifugao tribes in northern Luzon in the Philippines. It's a beautiful piece. Like, oh, I'll get it. Let me dig it out. Oh, this is fraught with danger. Okay, forget it. I'll save it for another day when I can actually dig it out properly. But anyway, that was an pass. But this was in the box. This jar of Mayploy, this can of Mayploy. Mayploy is a type of, a coconut milk brand from Thailand. As you can see, it's bent here, right? So back in 2004, when I was starting out in coffee and coffee competitions, I was in Kansas City, Missouri, competing in Kansas City, or maybe it was one of the other competitions, but I was competing in a competition. And they told me you need 2 pitchers to go on stage. I was like, well, I only have 1 pitcher. What am I going to do? And I was making the Halpia macchiato, which is this is a major component for it. And so I was like, well, I don't have anything. I got 1 pitcher. So I took this can and I squeezed it, put it in this shape, and I put the milk in here, and I used this as one of my steam pitchers. So, this has been. So why am I thinking about this? And why am I sharing this? Because to me, you can make coffee with anything. You don't need the fancy tool. The fancy tools can help. The fancy tools can make the task more pleasurable. But I don't think you need to have fancy tools to make nice quality coffee. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fancy tool person. Like, in woodworking, I buy some very fancy tools. But I watch these other guys like in Asia and the Philippines that are making like furniture, and they've got like the most rudimentary of stuff, like the most generic products. Or generic tools. I'm like, oh, these guys are making epic work. Or I know a guy named Bill Pavlak down in Colonial Williamsburg, who's making a chair right now that I'm planning on going to go see. And he's using only hand tools. So there's so many ways to do coffee that I think that I like the idea of hopefully being someone that's encouraging people not to necessarily get too caught up in the equipment. And don't get me wrong, I've been very caught up in the equipment over the years. But I don't think that you necessarily need to do that in order to make nice quality coffee. Right. That's really kind of the force behind what I like to do. And why do we do this? Because, especially now that we're at a point where a lot of you come to join on the regular, I like hanging out with you. I like to see all of you. And, it's a good time. I find it to be a good time. Like, there are moments, like there are definitely moments when I'm starting the live stream. Like, because when I set up the live stream, you have to fill out all the information that you see in the description. You also have to make all the right settings. So part of the settings are to make sure that it's set to public rather than private or unlisted. You have to set the right time and all this. You have to set all of the settings for the video and the sound to make sure that it gets from the correct source. And sometimes, like now, it's much better because there's a on my screen here there is a little like icon of people, so I can see how many people are watching at any moment. And then of course there's the comments. But there are times when like I may start and I'll start to talk like what do I normally say? It's time for now that I'm trying to remember, I can't remember. But I'll start off talking. It's because it says, getting ready to go live, going live. And then now it says you're live, and now you're going live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A. You're doing some Coffee Q&A here on the onocoffee channel, blah, 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 blah. And as I'm talking, I may glance at the screen, looking to the icon and looking for the comment, right? to see if anyone made it. And there's been a couple of times you may have I don't know if you may have noticed this, but there's been a couple of times when I've started and I may have stopped the stream completely or hesitated. That hesitation is typically me looking at the screen, especially when we're doing on the phone, and I don't see any numbers, and it makes me wonder, did I set the public setting correctly, or is it live streaming to no one? And I'm like, oh. Because before I didn't think too much about it because there was nobody watching. Now that there normally is, it's like, oh. It's like, oh, is anyone out there? Coffee Cove says one will be dedicated to espresso and the other for filter. Oh, nice. That's the way to go. I like that idea. The 80 millimeter size seems to be a good all-rounder. Oh, wow, 80 millimeter verse? That's awesome. I'm pleased so far, says Coffee Cove, and the P80 has a nice finish. Brian's with us. Happy 500. Thank you very much, Brian. Good to see you. And Powerplant says, Coffee YouTube is still very, very small. Even the big accounts are not all that big with the exception of James. That's true. Like I like to watch every once in a while Davey 504, the bassist, the slap bassist. I was thinking recently, I was like, maybe I should make some kind of video like Davey 504. Slap that coffee. Powerplant says, as I have mentioned before, you could always ask us more questions for more. Oh, I mean, anything you want that you interested that you think is content, I'm always interested to hear from you. Like, so don't be shy to put that there. Be like, hey, how about a video about this? I'm always open to that because there are definitely times when I'll be sitting around like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where I could like talk probably, well, and have talked incessantly about coffee, but there are definitely times when I've sat around like, what are we going to do on this episode? I have no idea. Like, for whatever reason, I'm having like a mind blank. It's like, let's do, I don't know. And it's not like I don't have a lot of stuff around here to like talk about. So we have plenty of stuff. Andrew wants to know, what's the latest info on reopening a Sport Cafe? I'm working on it. Now I'm actually working on it more. Like I'm actually like building stuff for it. I was in the space the other day, just yesterday. I'm hesitant right now to open a full retail operation, meaning that like one that has staff that's going to be operating on a continual basis, serving drinks. Mainly because I'm not really sure about our economic environment. You know, one of the things that I've always kind of like, you know, been a little bit, one thing that I don't miss from not having running retail, besides the whole retail thing, right? Like the whole, like, when you run a retail operation, there's always the pressure, like you have to open, right? Like, I believe that you set hours and you need to maintain those hours as much as you possibly can. Like, so we used to be open from 7, like there was a time we opened from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it's 7 days a week. So 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, 14 hours of like staff time, which is always, it's always like stressful. It's always stressful. There's always that stress, like you have to be open. And I don't miss that. And what I don't miss also is that, you know, like what I don't miss the most is, at least I, as an operator, I feel a pressure, right? That because I would have a team of people, right? There's a team of people working for you. And when you're the leader, all the pressure is on you. All the responsibility is yours, right? Like, and you know, I'm the kind of, I believe in trying to be the, and I'm going to say it this way because I don't know, I never know if I actually accomplish this, but I would like to try to believe that I am the kind of person that when positive things come, it's due to the shared efforts of the group. When things go poorly, it's probably because I made the wrong decisions, right? And when you're dealing with people that are, you know, working for you, that have families to support, maybe kids, maybe just their significant other, maybe just themselves, right? But everybody works for you because they want to live their lives. They want to. They hopefully they enjoy the work that they do with you and for you. But hopefully they also want to do things in their own pursuits, their own interests, their own art, travel, whatever they want to do. They have their own interests. They have their own lives, and their job supports that ability to live that life. I find that responsibility to be quite heavy. Like it's just like very, very like heavy to me. Like I remember the very first time I had to fire someone, and I had this team of people working for me, and they were all girls for some reason. They ended up being girls, and I hired this one guy on, and he was a hot dog. He was a hot dogger, right? He wanted to he joined the group and wanted to show off that he knew everything about their roles and that he could do the job better than them. And the girls that worked for me at the time were awesome. They were they're slayers. They were slayers, right? And they all worked well together. And I was starting to see the disharmony, right? It's like, okay, these girls hate this guy because he's just kind of a pain in the butt to them. He's making mistakes. He doesn't know his job that well, but he acts like he knows. You know the kind of people that are like that. And I came to the point where I realized that he had to go, and it was really difficult. I mean, and this was the very first time I did it, and so I remember I went to this. It was the afternoon. It was morning or early afternoon. I went to the cigar shop because I was like, I know I got to do it. Went to the cigar shop, sat there, had a cigar, contemplating, dreading this whole process, right? And it was one of those things where I realized that I have to act, because if I don't act, the best people will leave. My best people, the people that I need the most for us to do well, are going to leave because they're not going to put up with this. This person will drive those people out. He's got to go. So I sat there trying to put off the inevitable. Finally finished the cigar, got up, walked out, went to the car, drove straight to the shop. I was like, all right, we're going to have to separate. We're going to have to part ways. It was so painful. It was so difficult, not painful, but difficult, just difficult, right? It's a task I never relish in doing, right? I don't really enjoy releasing someone, mainly because hopefully, and especially as we got further into the business, years went by, my process for hiring became much more involved. It wasn't okay, hey, you're cool, let's bring you in. It was sit down interviews and all kinds of tests and discussions, about things. So we got better at selecting people that would be a better fit for everyone. So the amount of times I had to release people as we moved forward were definitely less. So you're asking about opening the next shop, and it's part of me is very concerned about bringing on people to work, and will we be able to make enough money to support them? And also the question is now, where is the right salary position? $20 an hour? I saw something recently where they said In-N-Out Burger in California is going to be starting at $43 an hour. It's $43 an hour. If we're selling coffee for $4 a cup, $43 an hour is a considerable amount of money to cover. That's 10 cups. If you only sold 10 cups in that hour, you're hosed. So while we are moving forward with that new space, I am still not clear as to what full format that's going to take. I'm really leaning now more towards an education-oriented focus with the space rather than a retail-oriented focus. But I am kind of just waiting to see because, costs have increased dramatically, both due to just the nature of the coffee market has gone up tremendously over the last 2 years. And then you add on usurious taxes by this government, and it just makes everything much more unstable. Everything's unstable, even in other sectors of business that I talk to, that I know people in, they're all like, yeah, we don't know. Everything's crazy. The only guy that I know that's making that doesn't feel that way is the guy that's selling he sells like process manufacturing equipment for like metalworking. Power Plant says, I really recommend the Mirror Coffee Roasters YouTube channel. Very nice content. I'll have to check that out. I will check that out. Ken said, those guys are great. I enjoy their podcast very much. Oh, all right. We'll go check that out. We will check that out. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts when you ask about like, what is it? What is the motivation to doing this? It's just really more to share information and to hopefully encourage people to not necessarily feel that coffee is an insurmountable pursuit, for their pocket. Because I do think that you can make coffee with very rudimentary items. Like I really do believe that. I've been meaning to make a video about this, like go to like the local grocery store, buy whatever coffee brewing devices they have and make coffee with that, because you don't need, like really, while this Benjamin is exquisite, this is just an exquisite looking brewer, right? Like it's just beautiful. There's no brewer on the market that is more beautiful than this one at the moment, right? It's also what, $125, I think, if you were to buy one today. I think that's how much they are. Which, in the world of like coffee, pour over brewers, that's pretty expensive. But do you need to spend this kind of money to make nice quality coffee? I don't think so. I think that you just need to buy nice quality coffee. And I like the idea of buying nice quality coffee from a local roaster, mainly because you're going to get nice quality coffee, you're supporting local businesses, and it's going to be fresh, right? Like I'm a big fan of like ordering coffees online. Like even though we sell coffee online, I'm not a big fan of like pushing that kind of thing for people to do. I think it's important to support your local coffee roasters. Tell them what you like, tell them what you're interested in, develop a rapport with them, develop a relationship with your local roaster, because, hopefully I've realized people may be in places where they don't have local roasters, or the local roasters are not very customer focused, or they're not very interested in certain things. So I realize that's always a potential issue, but I do try to encourage people to buy local as much as possible. Like I was just talking with someone recently about tools, and this one guy had this issue with his Festool. He's like, I have a issue with Festool, and Festool has a really great warranty position. Like if you buy a Festool and you don't like it for whatever reason, like you just don't like it, like you're like, oh, this is not for me, and you discover that within 30 days, you can return it, no questions asked, get your full refund, no problem. But this guy, he buys a big tool. He buys one of the big ones, big miter saw. It's huge, probably weighs like 75 pounds. Buys it from an online retailer selling through Amazon. Now the retailer is a place called Hartville Hardware in Hartville, Ohio. Very reputable dealer, very reputable company. But for whatever reason, they sell their product not just on their main website, which you could buy straight from them, but also through Amazon. So he buys this stuff, and there's a problem with it, or doesn't like it or something. He's like, I want to return it. So now he's in this whole thing where it goes back and forth between Amazon and Hartville. Who's going to fulfill it? Who's going to do this? And then, like, does he have to pay return shipping? And he's like, I don't want to pay return shipping. I was like, well, that's why. Tim, I was like, well, why did you buy it that way? And he's like, well, I bought it that way because I could use my Amazon credit card. And I was like, okay, I get that. Save some money, get some money back. I get it. It's a significant purchase, right? But it made me think that, if I buy it from my local dealer, like I have a long relationship with my local dealer now. So if I have any issues, I just go to them and they take care of it. Right? You're a known entity to someone. You're not just some random guy on the internet that nobody knows. you have a relationship. And I think that goes such a long way to helping with things, to facilitating things. And it's never about, it's always like contract. It's never about when things are great. It's always about when things go wrong. That's my last thought, I think. Coffee Cove says, I do both in buying and locally and online. I hear you on that. And then, sometimes you just can't help it. Like just yesterday, like just last night, I bought a part. I got this old like 1970s Stihl chainsaw recently. It's in parts. I don't know what I was thinking, but I got it for like $20. It was super cheap. But it's in parts. I'm like, why am I buying this? I have no mechanical skills in this realm. But I figured, you know what? I can learn how to rebuild the carburetor. I can learn how to do small engine repair. I can learn something from this. Probably it'll be a dismal failure, but I was like, okay. So I ordered a part from because it's hard to get locally. So I bought a part from Amazon and had it shipped over here. So yeah, it's all depends. But I do think that when you're getting to more major purchases, I do like to buy in person, just because you get to know people, and I think it's always. I like that. Coffee Cove says the roasters by Media Air are mostly second wave, and nothing wrong there, but need to go online for light to medium roast. But I wonder, they may be second wave, but are they the kind of roasters that may be open to, if they know that people are interested? I wonder if they might be open to trying other roasts. I can't answer that for only you will know that, and you have to determine for yourself whether or not that's worth the conversation. Because some, we're all people, so. And owners and operators are ego-driven, and so a lot of times when you talk, and this is why I don't necessarily talk to a lot of people myself about this, because you can go to people and be like, "How I was thinking about this," and suddenly they're like, their ego kicks in because they feel like, oh, they're being attacked, like they're, it's like it's not that, dude. I just want to explore more with you. So. I get it. I understand what you're saying. I totally hear you. Coffee Cove says, I asked them and they did not have success in this market. I mean, I get it. Like sometimes you're just known as a darker roasted. You're known for what you're known for. I guess that's really the best way to say it. Power Plant says, very informative, slightly pretentious, very well presented. See, I think the pretentious part would probably turn me off. I don't really like pretense. So maybe I'll give it a try. When I run out of woodworking podcasts to listen to. Last time in San Diego, says Power Plant, they had a solid little bedrock of local roasters. They do. One of my friends bought... what's the one that has there's a company out there that has the surfing van as their logo, Little Rock or something like that. Anyway, one of my friends from Kansas City bought that company several years ago. It's been a while. Plus there's also Andy and Nanelle Newbaum. They have, can't remember the name of the company. But anyway, they have a great show. That's a great place. If you're in San Diego, go see Andy and Nanelle. They've got a great new shop there, which I can't remember the name. I'm horrible with remembering things today. Let me see. What is it called? I went to go visit their shop before they opened 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Torque Coffee Roasters. Go see Torque. Yeah, Torque Coffee's here. We're in San Diego. Torque Coffee's excellent people. Excellent. Andy Newbaum, when he started, him and I started the business really about the same time. We've been contemporaries and friends for many, many years. And here's the thing, we've been friends. I consider him a really good friend in the business. We have not always seen eye to eye. There have been many times when him and I have been in harsh disagreement on coffee things. But I think that's really what makes a relationship really strong, is that you can disagree but still be great friends. And him and I were the founding members of the Barista Guild of America many, many years ago. And it was Chris Davidson and Chris Davidson, a couple guys from Zoka in Seattle, decided they wanted to start the Barista Guild of America. And they approached me and Andy Newbaum and a couple other people to join and be part of the founding members of the organization to help build it. So we were there for like, I guess maybe almost 5 years. And now they're on their own thing. Actually, at the time they wanted to start it under the auspices of the Specialty Coffee Association of America, the CAA. I was actually against that because I saw then the potential for the Barista Guild to have more members than the SCA could ever have, because there's just so many more baristas, and when you work as part of an organization like the Specialty Coffee Association, it's always a mother may I kind of situation. And as an operator, I hate that. Like, I don't want to have mother may I stuff. I want to be able to operate quickly when necessary. And but the group wanted to go with the SCAA, and I was against it. So that's how we got to be part of the SCAA. Yeah. Now it's a money-generating machine for the Specialty Coffee Association. Bird Rock, thank you, Bird Rock. The biggest media chain is called Better Buzz, quite commercial but good coffee. I've not been to Better Buzz. Coffee Cup says, I wanted to do pop-ups focusing on pour-over as it's not popular in my area. I want to talk with one of our roasters about coffees, especially featuring lighter, newer style. He shared trying it, but not many enjoyed it. I mean, here's the thing. I think that, and I don't know the roaster you're talking about, and actually, I don't even know what part of the country you're in. But when I started Spro in 2004, 2005, we started Spro. We actually had a different company that I started in 2002, that I was doing coffee with in 2002. Coffee in Baltimore was very different back then. It was very second wavy. And we were the first to come out with coffee. And, it's one of those things where it takes time. So if you decide you want to do these pop-ups, I would suggest trying to figure out the best places to put yourself into to get traffic, especially like maybe younger traffic. Younger people tend to be more open than older people. Like when we started Spro in Hamden in 2010, the core of our business was mostly hipsters, not the older crowd. Hipsters in their 20s, because they were just more open to trying new things. But it takes a little bit of time to develop. And I think now it should be a different landscape than 15 years ago, because now especially coffee has taken a much different role in the American landscape than it had back then. So now it's much more prevalent, much more accepted, much more understood. So I don't know if you'd have such a hard time getting it out there. Just that you have to find. It's always about finding the right drinker. Northwest Ohio. Oh, so closer to Indiana. I was thinking about Cleveland. I don't know if you've been to Troubadour, but my friend Tony DeCorpo owns that place. I love that guy. He's so like hardcore. Like, he's very hardcore. Like, he's the kind of guy that's like, this is how we do coffee. If you don't like it, you can get the hell out. So I did a video with him because I like the work that he does. I do think that he's probably one of the better operators in the United States. Like, I like the guys who I think is really good are those that are like smaller operators that are hyper focused on quality. Right, like all these bigger roasters that have nice coffee, to me, they're like not that exciting. It's the small operators that I think are like the ones that can do things that these bigger ones can't, as far as how they operate, what they can offer. And even though they're smaller, like I think of John Piquet, who I do think is the best operator in the United States today. Like, he's very small. He's all self. It's crazy. I don't understand it. But he's able to, and his volume is very small. So he's not like foolish guys like me that want to go to Origin and like work with farms and import coffee to the United States. He works with importers and finds beautiful coffees. Like, he's able, it's not that importers are buying beautiful coffees. You just got to like work with them to get the ones that you really want. And of course, they're also small quantities. So a lot of the bigger roasters don't want that because they have to produce so much coffee. So if you're a small operator that only needs small amounts of coffee, you can get small quantities of very unique and exquisite coffees that wouldn't be appropriate. Not appropriate, but that wouldn't fit into the larger roasters' catalogs. Right? Provecho in San Diego is very cool. Oh, that sounds good. All their coffees are from Latin America, and the space is very hip and cool. Reminds me of a Korean cafe. I went to a place in Portland, Oregon. What was it called? It was similar to that. It was very Mexican. I have a video on it. I went with my friend Sylvia. We went there to see this place. Very cool place. Very nice. They had conchas and maranitos, which were very nice. And the power plants. I think one of the cooler cafes are the Quat cafes, or the Cat cafes in LA. Lo Quat and Kumquat. They import a ton of beans from Asia. Oh, I will have to remember that for next time. All right. Well, 11:26. Time to go. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I'm always glad to see all of you. Thank you very much. 500 episodes. We'll be back again tomorrow with more of the coffee Q&A. I think I've already got it scheduled. Oh, yeah, tomorrow we're going to be doing one of my favorite cereals. So we're going to talk about that more tomorrow. But, all right. So hope you have a great one. Naomi's with us. Hey, Naomi, how are you? How are things? Roll Tide. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Always appreciate you being here. It is an honor. And I can't believe we've already done 500 episodes. Hopefully we can do 500 more and 500 more after that. So hope you have a great one and see you next time.